Well, good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Grab yourself something to drink, whatever you drink in the morning, hopefully out of a Stonemont cup mug because everything tastes better out of these. And let's talk about some things. I want to talk today about the doom of America. Okay, and it had to do with a question that I was asked by one of our esteemed patrons over on the Patreon channel, Keith Rosen. So Keith, I'm going to answer this, and the rest of you who aren't with us on the Patreon channel, now you get a rare sneak peek into our Patreon channel, right? Because I think everybody, I do want to address this with everybody. Before I get into that, I want to remind you that this and all my videos are brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series, The Complete Guide to Preparing for, Surviving, and Rebuilding After a Total Collapse of Everything. People tell me that they love it. People tell me it's the best post-apocalyptic series they have ever read. Some people have read it through 5 times and say they're still learning stuff, and I think you'd like it too. If you haven't read these and you really are interested in preparedness, true preparedness, or if you just like a great post-apocalyptic story with great characters and some you'll fall in love with, I suggest that this be the next thing you do. There's 2 ways to get them. You can get them through Amazon. That link is down below, and they get them to you pretty quick. There's a better way, and the way that I really like you to do it, if you don't mind waiting, and that's the caveat, and that is directly from me through our website, stonemont.us. That link is down below, and but here's the thing, you have to wait. And if you get them from me, I sign each one for you. I write a note in each one for you. I love it when you do that because I love my relationship with my readers, just like I do with my viewers. And I really feel good about writing, your name and a little something to you. And then we're able to give them to you at a discount if you buy the whole set. You can't get the whole set through Amazon. And I throw in a little freebie, the Stonemont notebook. So if you don't mind waiting, probably about a month, get them through me because I love it when you do that. Okay, you will learn more than you can imagine. Okay, so let me reach for my laptop here, and I'm currently switching over from Windows to Mac, and so I'm having some old guy issues on that, but I'm getting there, right? So oh, by the way, if for those of you who are with us on Patreon, Mike Morton, one of our esteemed patrons, and a friend of mine sent me a map yesterday that I have put up on the Patreon site, and it shows the difference between the Crusade battles and the Muslim conquest battles of Europe. You know how you've heard people say, well, yeah, but the Christians started the Crusades. Well, you want a little bit of truth, look at this map. Okay, let's go to Keith's comment to me. Okay, and then I'm going to address this. It's about the doom of America. He says, Steve, here's a subject that I think you should address. All right, Keith, and I shall right now. I have friends who are locked in a loop of despair. Yeah, so many preppers are, right? I talk about this all the time. Why are so many, and I don't know if this other person that he's talking about is a prepper or not, but certainly a lot of preppers are just doom and gloom all the time. I saw one today, another doom and gloomer, right? It says, one guy in particular perplexes me the most. He is a 79-year-old combat jarhead, that's a Marine for those of you who don't know, who views America as though it was a disaster of a country, okay? Everything is horrible. What cracks me up is this guy has it made. Full pension with all benefits, he drives a new car, has plenty of good food, personal freedom, has his health, lives in a good home. In short, this guy has it made. Yet everything is wrong about America. I am dumbfounded as to why this dumb effing jarhead is so, he didn't say effing, I did. He said the whole thing, but I don't use that kind of language on here. Why he's so full of doom and gloom. So when he keeps calling him jarhead, I suspected, okay, Keith was in another branch, right? He is not by himself. I know others who also see things through the same eyes of despair. Almost all of them are Democrats. Well, that explains a lot. So I have come to the conclusion that the mass media is responsible for the mass doom loop of Americans viewing their country with such contempt. I am a Navy vet. I figured, yeah. And I can tell you, when the fleet sailors stop bitching, there's going to be a mutiny. That's an interesting point, something to keep in mind. I think I would like, keep that in mind, what he means here, because I've seen this in other situations too. People grouse and groan and complain and whine and everything like that. When they finally reach a point where they're going to do something about it, they stop their whining and complaining, right? Because now they're determined to do something about it. They've planned to do something about it. In many ways, they've coalesced, they've come together. There's a plan, or at least an intent, and now they stop talking because they're going to do something about it. Okay, that's a good lesson in other places too. There's talkers and there's doers. The doers usually talk about it after they've done it. The talkers talk about it because they're never going to do it. That should be on a mug. So let's see. I'm a Navy vet, and I already said that. I think I would like your perspective on this manipulated national doom of the population. All of the Democrats are in a state of national rejection. All the while they drive new cars, eat well, have no one shooting at them. Have a good retirement. Have a good retirement and have a good retirement. What is driving this national mindset of despair? We got trouble, but I view that trouble from a full stomach. I just don't get it. What say you? Well, Keith, that is a great question, and I think you've covered a lot in there. First off, I want to go back, and I want to I saw myself in something that you were saying this, okay? And I'll do this, and then I'll continue. Okay, he is, everything is horrible. This is from this friend of his perspective. Everything is horrible. What cracks me, he has it made, okay? Full pension with all bennies. He drives a new car, has plenty of food, personal freedom, has his health, lives in a good home, has it made. Okay, many people would see me in that. I see myself in that. I've got it made. I'll be honest with you. I've got it made. I live in a great area, a great home. I have a great family. I own my own businesses. I don't work for anybody else. I dictate what I do with my time every day. God has given me many opportunities. I don't see how my life could really be much better. And yet I will join your friend, your jarhead friend, in saying that I think that I look at this country in many times in despair. Those of you who are with us on the Patreon channel, I really look forward to hearing your comments on this one. And also, not to demean anybody on YouTube, I look forward to hearing yours as well. But Patreon, we have such thinkers over there with such vast experiences, okay? If you're not with us on Patreon and you are one of those exceptional people, please join us. The link's down below, okay? Yeah, and so I view this world or our country with despair in many cases. And the reason that I do that is because when I compare the way it is now to the way that our founders intended it, based on the belief that God was at the center of the founding of this country, and when through the first generations of this country, our government and our education was based on God-given principles. And then when I saw how it started to devolve, it started to devolve during the 1800s. If you've read my books or you've heard me talk, that the War of Northern Aggression, when the federal government tried to force states to remain in the Union, even though the federal government was treating them badly, that showed a leap forward in government control. As we go farther and we see how society devolved, waves and waves of immigration came into our country. In some cases it was good, not all cases, to be real honest. As far as the fabric of the country. And then we got ourselves involved in wars. We didn't. The American people didn't want to be a part of World War I, World War II, or any of those things. Korea, Vietnam, American people didn't want to be a part of that. Our government became controlled by para-government forces. Shall we say that? Can we say international banking? Am I allowed to say that still? We went from a nation of producers to a nation of debtors. Now, we still produced a lot. We support the entire stinking world. But we did it on debt. Government debt and personal debt to international banking. Ask yourself this. If every country in the world is in debt, who are they in debt to? Okay. So, yeah. And then after World War II, we saw what many people see as a bright and shining, part of America, the 50s and the early 60s. See the USA and your Chevrolet, everybody got married, everybody raised their kids, still went to church, all of that. And then we hit the mid-60s. Some people blame the Beatles. We found that as a result of Vietnam, and the hippies they led us in this, we found that we couldn't trust our government. We finally came to terms with understanding that our government got us into wars for money. Millions of our young men. You taking off?
Yeah.
Excuse me, I want to say goodbye to my son. All right, my oldest son headed off to work, and I have a rule. Whenever any of my family leaves, kids, wife, whatever, I stop what I'm doing, and I give them a hug and a kiss goodbye and tell them to have a good day. So yeah, we saw that our government, we couldn't trust our government. It continued to devolve after that. The country got away from God. Individuals got away from God. Churches got away from God. Waving at the new neighbors. We have new neighbors across the street. Seem like really nice people. And this country has fallen morally, ethically, economically, to the point that we are so divided. Now, Americans have never really been unified. Understand that. We have never been a nation. A nation is a group of people united by a common language, heritage, and religion. We are not that, and I've never been that way. We were created from kind of an amalgamation of different groups of people. But we have never been this divided. You go back 50 years, pretty much everybody, and you've heard me say this before, pretty much everybody, regardless of religion, race, political party, whatever, felt the same way, pretty much the same way about the major things. Not now. People feel entirely different. You get more than half of the society thinks that it's okay to cheat on a test. And now we've gotten to where the political differences have gone from, different but kind of close to extremes. Now the right, Republicans or independents or whatever, have not really moved that far. They've become a little more liberal than they used to be honest. But the Democrats, the left, have become essentially communist. Okay. People now, because we are exposed to so much news media. It's not like when I was a kid. When I was a kid, you had ABC, NBC, and CBS. Every evening at 5:30 was the national news for a half an hour, and then from 6 to 6:30, it was local news, which included weather and the ball scores and stuff like that. Nobody watched the news except the father in the family. People weren't consumed with this. Now we are. Look with how everybody's consumed with Epstein. So we've gotten to the point to where we are living not our own lives according to our own principles, but far too many are being driven by the collective beliefs of the team they've chosen to belong to. Simple as that. And when Biden's in, or pretty much when any Democrat is in, I pretty much lose hope for the future of the country. I see it, I despair. I am. For the country, not for me. Okay, that's the difference. And when people, when a Republican are in, look at the insanity of people who hate Trump now. And I have friends of mine who are Democrats, and we don't talk about this stuff because they are just well, first off, they don't know what they're talking about, right? So ignorance is at the bottom of a lot of this. The Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And while people consume so much information, they don't glean a lot of knowledge because they don't understand things at an elemental level. Most people don't understand economics. Most people don't understand politics. They just don't understand. But they believe, see? So they believe in things they don't understand. And that is a recipe for disaster, and that is great cause for despair. Now, I don't expect this country to last very long in its current iteration. But I don't despair for my life or anyone else. I don't even despair for the country. God's going to do what he's going to do with this country. You don't know, and I don't know what that is. I know a lot of people come on here and say that they think that they know. They don't. I don't. You don't. We don't know what God's going to do. I've read the Bible. You read the Bible? God does all sorts of things with countries and nations and tribes, right? Yeah. His ways are higher than our ways. How do I know that? Because he said so. We don't know. But what we have to do is be cognizant and responsible for our own lives and how we live our own lives. Be responsible for our own lives under the guidance, direction of the good Lord himself. And I'm going to tell you how to keep from falling into this feeling of doom. Okay? And I know, I'm going to say again, I see so many so-called preparedness channels. I don't consider them preparedness channels. I consider them whining and complaining channels. They wrap their messages in God and the end of the world and the end times and rapture and Christ is coming and all this. And I won't get into that, but I tell you, they have a real misunderstanding of all that. But I want to tell you how to stop despairing. Okay? Let me get my readers. Well, first off, on the side of this, God, family, friends. Start with that. Okay? God, family, friends. How about that? Think about that. That's the order of your priorities, what they should be. Now, on this mug, it says Stonemont, where life is good. Right? It has the pine tree of Stonemont. It has the Bible, on which our country and your family should be based in your life. It has the axes, symbolizing the building of the country and the building of your family and your life. And it has the rifles, and these three things were on which our country was based. The rifles for protection and providence, providing for our needs. Now down there on the bottom, and the reason that I can say this because on our mugs, we have it on both sides. You can get this mug through the stonemont.us website. It says, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. Okay, that's Psalm 127:1. And what that means is, if God's not in the business isn't going to succeed. Whether that's your business, whether that's your life, or whether that's the country. Okay. Now, on the back of this, on the front of this, and I'll say first off, this is the Stonemont notebook that I will send you free if you order the books through me. On the back of it is the same verse because I think it's one of the most important verses out there, right? On the front, right here, it says, it's Proverbs 16:3, another one of my favorite. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. Now, what does that mean? A lot of people don't understand what that means because that's King James. If you're reading the Bible and you don't think you understand it, I have too many people come to me and they don't understand because they're reading out of the King James. Okay, We do not live in 17th century England. They used words differently back then. Get a Bible you understand, written in plain English, 20th century, 21st century English. They all carry the same message. No, you're not going to go to hell if you don't read the King James. Okay. I know there are some people out there who say that. Be careful of people like that. Well, what that means is commit your work to the Lord and your plans will succeed. Does that mean, Lord, I want a red Ferrari, and since I'm committing it to you, I'm committing that Ferrari to you, I'm going to drive it in your name, you're going to get it? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means that as God leads you, and that should be your starting prayer every morning. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Guide me according to your purpose. Okay? And use me for your purpose. You ask for his guidance, and then as you do what he tells you to, commit that to him, and it will succeed. Because guess what? God wants his will to succeed, and too often we get our will all mixed up with his will, and that's a recipe for disaster and despair. So Keith, that was a great question. Thank you for sending that question in. You know, that guy that you're talking about, he is not lit, and I don't mean to judge him, and I'm not condemning him. If he saw things through the lens of God's will, he would not despair. And if this applies to any of you out there, think about it, okay? It doesn't matter. Whatever happens with this world, we prepare to be able to deal with the things that happen in this world. But whatever happens in this world is beyond your control to a certain extent, to a great extent, actually. You can control to an extent what's happening in your little world. Don't worry so much about that. Pay attention, prepare for it. But what happens in the world at large, you have no control over. So don't worry about it. Prepare, but don't worry. Okay? Concentrate on your life. Concentrate on your family. Concentrate on making sure that you are doing what the good Lord wants you to do. And he will use you in ways that might surprise you. Okay? All right. Well, that's it for today. I'm probably going to come back later and talk about Stonemont preparedness, because that's what I had originally intended to talk about today until I got Keith's comment. So again, thanks for Keith. One last reminder, if you want to order the Stonemont series, Amazon down below. You can't get the series as a series through Amazon. You got to buy them individually. But if you want them signed by me, the way I love you to do it, because I love writing your name, writing a note to you. If you want to get the whole series, 8 novels, or 7 novels now, the Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, the Blessings of Freedom, Hostages to Fortune, and On Wings Like Eagles, a great story about a family, a prepared family, who was not only able to continue living well after a total collapse of everything, but was also able to help other people under God's guidance. And I think you will love it. But get it through me, through our website, stonemont.us, if you're willing to wait just a little bit. And probably take us about a month to get them to you, because we're catching up on orders. We're doing our best to catch up on orders. If you're waiting for your order, don't worry, we're catching up. All right, stonemont.us. You all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and we should do it. I will add one more thing here, because it came back in my mind about this guy who was, in despair. This is the day the Lord has made. This day. We will rejoice and be glad in it. If you're not rejoicing and you're not glad in the day the good Lord has given you, you're not doing what he wants you to, so get out there and do it, okay? You all have a good one. As we say, Hago, have a good one. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.